in my bookcase. Okay, this feels so weird because I have not been on camera since I was like, I don't even know, it's been some years. And I feel like it's going to take some getting used to again, to be honest. But we're here and we're going to give it a go because I'm doing the artist's way and I want to document it, and I want to have something to look back on, as well as having obviously your morning pages and all the different exercises and stuff. I want to have something that I can like see my face, because I feel like I'm really someone who, I love to take videos, I love to take photos, but I haven't like sat down and spoken to a camera in so long that this feels so weird. It just sort of came to me as an idea because, I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see my channel, you can see that I used to make videos, and it was something that brought me a lot of joy when I was sort of 16, 17, 18. But I'm 25, that was a really long time ago, which is actually really scary that it's like a decade ago when I started doing this. But it did bring me a lot of joy. And so when I was reading The Artist's Way and it said about your artist is a child, I was like, okay, I don't know if this is the right way to think about it, because I mean I'm literally on the week one, but I was like, okay, well in that case what did I enjoy as a child, and what I enjoyed, not exactly as a child but as a young person I guess, I love documenting my life, and I still do that, it just in different ways. So I thought, let's document this, let's put it on YouTube, let's see if there's anyone else out there that this can relate to, because I know lots of other people have documented their artist's way journeys, and I've watched a few and I've really enjoyed them, and I thought, why not? So although the anxiety is palpable, I'm excited. This is the notebook I've got to do all my morning pages and stuff in. I did this yesterday just to like get me started, and then there's the little contract I've signed and some artist date ideas and the affirmations, and the morning pages started. But this is going to be my little artist's way Bible. I've got you set up on like the world's shakiest tripod. I found like one of the mini ones from back when I used to do YouTube, so I thought let's get that one out, but it's not very good, so if you want a bit of a skew if, I'm sorry. And it's also not quite tall enough, but you know what, we may do. So that kind of ties in with what I was about to say actually, because I was about to apologise for the fact that I've literally got wet hair, but I think finding the time to create is part of the whole process. That is what I'm like struggle with. I'm very often like, oh, it's not like the perfect time, I can't sit down and create something or make something for hours and hours and hours, so I need to wait for a day that I can, but it's like those days very rarely come, and so sitting down and like being like, right, even if I've only got half an hour, I'm going to sit and make something, is something I'm trying very hard to get into my life. So yes, we are on a wobbly tripod. Yes, my hair is wet. And yes, I have work this afternoon, but that's okay. I can fit in a little bit of time. So I've got my little notebook and obviously got the artist's way, and I thought I would spend a little bit of time and do some of the exercises. So I know for this week I've got to draw out like my monsters, or I can't remember the word that she uses to refer to it. Let's actually read it properly, right? Okay. Got the book. List 3 old enemies of your creative self-worth. Your historic monsters are the building blocks of your core negative beliefs. This is your Monster Hall of Fame. More monsters will come to you as you work through your recovery. It's always necessary to acknowledge creative injuries and grieve them, otherwise they become creative scar tissue and block your growth. Okay, so I've got a list of 3 old enemies. Is this about to become like a burn book? Like, that's crazy. And then I've got to write out 1 horror story for my Monster Hall of Fame. I know what I'm going to write there, that's for sure. I've got to write a letter to the editor in my defence. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on. And then I've got to list 3 old champions of my creative self-worth. Your hall of champions, those who wish you and your creativity well. Be specific. Every encouraging word counts. Even if you disbelieve a compliment, record it. It may well be true. Okay. That is... Oh, and then we've got some other ones as well. I think we'll focus on that for now. See what we get time to do. But it's going to be quite hard to do because it's like you just don't often sit back and think, okay, well, who has actually told me that my work is shit? or not even like said it outright, just made you feel like that, right? Like I feel like that's harder to think about. Like I know who champions me, my friends and my family. Oh, you would hope. but obviously have been people who have put down my work in the past. It's just sort of like, I guess, so internalised now that I don't particularly think of them. I can think of one. But more than one? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Let's give it a go. I've just finished. I'm gonna like cover up the names. But I've just finished my drawings of my monsters, and I've written out my little my horror story. Well, that was very hard. I feel like it brought up a lot of emotions. Kind of feels like a little therapy session. I feel like it's a lot to write down situations that have made you feel like shit. That's enough. But to actually dive into like exactly how you felt at that moment is really hard, especially when you're trying to focus on becoming a more positive artist or a more positive designer, and then it's like, actually let's focus on when you were really bad. That's really hard. I find this a bit difficult. Okay. Bit of a switch up. I'm feeling much better. I've done my champions of my creative self-worth. So my champions of my creative self-worth I've put as the Remake New York Fashion Week team, because last September I showed work at New York Fashion Week as part of their sustainable show, and part of what I put before in my like horror story bit was about not being selected for a catwalk at the end of my studies, which really, really hurt at the time, and if I'm being honest, still kind of does. But being selected to go to New York freaking Fashion Week kind of healed that a lot. So they're definitely champions of my creative self-worth, because I was feeling really, really low, and then they saw my work and saw potential in it, and the feedback and love that I got at that show and the people that I met there was just phenomenal. So yes, champions of my creative self-worth. Then I've put my school fashion and textiles teacher, Mrs. Homie Walsh. I doubt you're watching this, but if you are, you still have a very, very big part of my heart. You are the basis of why I do what I do. You kick-started it all, so there you go. And then my family and friends. And I guess the idea was to like be specific about people, but I'm very thankful that I do have a family as a whole, a boyfriend and a group of friends who on the whole are very supportive and compliment my work a lot. So yeah, I then did my little thank you letter, and then I like the last question. It's like, what would you do with 5 imaginary lives? So life 1, I said I'd be a fashion designer because that's what I want to do. Life 2, I would travel the world working as I go and not worry about stability and having to come back and find a house in England, because I think that puts you off, right? Life 3, I'd be a fashion journalist or a fashion writer in some capacity. Life 4, I've always wanted to sort of write stories, whether that's children's books or actual novels. I don't know, storybook writer and illustrator I put. And then life 5, I just go off and live somewhere remote and just live a quiet life and say to myself. So there's my 5 lives, and that's all of the exercise to do. There's another one to go for a walk with your artist self, but I go on a walk every day anyway. That's how I come up with most of my ideas, I feel, because I like go out, I don't have any AirPods in, I just go out, I listen to the sound of the birds, go and walk through the park, and that is literally the only way I come up with good ideas. So that's already a part of my routine, so I don't really see that as an exercise for this week per se, because that is an exercise for my life. But yes, week 1 exercises are done. Obviously it will still keep going over in my head, and I'm sure I can add some more, but feeling quite positive actually. I was a bit scared. I thought that after doing the negative side of things, I was like, oh no, we're spiralling. But we're not spiralling. We're doing good. Hoping you can hear me because it's quite windy up here, but I've come out into the park to have my artist date. So I'm reading Mary Oliver, who's my favourite poet. I think it's like the perfect setting to do it, because if you don't know Mary Oliver, a lot of her poetry is about nature and immersing yourself in it, and that sort of like relationship between humanity and nature and how it can inspire you, which ties in a lot with my work. Oh, the window's picking up, I still hope you can hear me with the microphone on. This is not brilliant, but yeah, reading some poetry. And I thought I'd just come out with myself. I didn't really know what to do for my artist date, to be honest, because I don't really spend much time by myself, which is really weird to think about because I used to live alone. But people came, and I'm not used to vlogging in public anymore, but what I was going to say was I used to live alone, and I lived alone for like 2 years, right in the middle of the pandemic actually, so I was really used to doing stuff for myself. But nowadays I usually do everything with my friends, or my friend, probably. I live at home again, so it's like I'm barely alone. So actually finding the time to come and do something alone was actually trickier than I thought. Like, I'm in high demand, guys. So I've come out, it's Tuesday afternoon, I'm doing this Wednesday to Wednesday, so this is literally like the last moment. But I was at home working, and I thought, I want to be out in nature. But I thought, hold on, I work for myself, like I can go out in nature whenever I want to. So I'm here, and yeah, reading my poetry and enjoying the sunshine. Even if it doesn't look like it, I've got my scarf on. It's cold, but it's sunny, and I like it when it's bright, so yeah, let's read.